So this episode is sponsored by Cheeks. She gave us the eggs to make the pasta. Thanks, Cheeks, for giving us the eggs. Mwah. Okay, so our next one is going to be a Dirty Chai Martini with pumpkin ravioli, but get this, filled with shrimp, parmesan, garlic, all the beautiful flavors. So pumpkin does go with a lot of different flavors that you might not think about. So we are going to make our own pasta and fill it. We're gonna actually make it into a pumpkin pasta, and then we're gonna fill it with a little bit of pumpkin, shrimp, and some parmesan. I might change it up as I go along, but right now that's the plan. So first, we're gonna do the pumpkin pasta. Now I do have, because I have not really made pasta dough before, so I am going to go off of a recipe, and I'll put all of these recipes on my website. So what we're gonna do is at first, we are going to get the puree. So we're gonna do the pumpkin puree. You can do squash, butternut squash, whatever you'd like. And this is 100% pumpkin. No pumpkin pie spice, no spices, just the pumpkin, because you're gonna add your flavors to it. That's exactly what I did in the pumpkin martini, or sorry, the white Russian, the pumpkin white Russian. I added the spice to it. So that was about 1/3 cup. So we're gonna be done with that. Now it's asking for 1 egg, nothing like fresh, free-range eggs. So we're gonna mix these together just so they're kind of smooth. Beautiful. So I'm gonna set that aside. I'm just gonna do it by hand. So what we're using is the 00 flour. It makes really good pasta. We get it at a local Italian store. You can get it online. You can get it pretty much anywhere you'd like. We're using central milling. So this flour is ground and done in Utah. I believe they get the grains from Utah as well. So there's 1. So that's about 2. And then we're gonna just do a little bit of 1/4. Yeah, that's about 1/4. Now, what we're gonna do is the salt, garlic salt, 3/4 tablespoon. That's about right. It does ask for nutmeg. I don't want this to be sweet. I want it to be more savory, so I'm really not gonna do the nutmeg. Go ahead and mix this in. So now I'm just gonna do a well. So what we're gonna do first is throw our pumpkin mixture in. Now it calls for just 2 eggs, and the reason for that is that you're doing the pumpkin. So you gotta remember you're adding more wet ingredients than just the eggs. So that's why the 2 eggs only. Otherwise you'd be doing more eggs than this. Now we're just gonna mix. Kind of once it gets a little bit more mixed in, we'll add the other egg. And then I'll start using my hands here in a second. All right, so it's starting to get a little bit drier. So what I'm gonna do is put a little well. I'm just gonna stir it a little bit and then just kind of start incorporating it into everything. Now this is where if it's too dry, you could do a little bit more water if you wanted. You could do another egg. Well, I shouldn't say more water because we don't use water. But you could do water if you'd like. You could do another egg. You do a little pumpkin puree. Kind of just depends on you and what you're wanting. All right. So we're gonna work this in. I don't know about you, but it's fun to have an orange color. It's always fun to get your hands dirty. It's kind of like playing with Play-Doh, but as an adult. So it's on the dry side. I think what I'm gonna do is instead of adding water, I'm just gonna do a little bit more pumpkin puree. Why not? Like I said, I'm not making this sweet, just pumpkin. Maybe a little bit more than that. All right, so this is gonna be a savory pumpkin dish. Oh, I was supposed to do semolina flour. Oops, as we're learning. All right, so about 2 tablespoons. So I found this from our local grocery store. It's semolina flour that's supposed to help it to the pasta keep its shape. So we're gonna make the dough. We're gonna knead it. All right. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and put a little of the semolina flour on the work surface. Now we're just gonna knead it because you're wanting that gluten to really work with it. So I'm gonna knead this for probably about 8 10 minutes is what I understand is, we'll see how long it goes, and then as I need it, I'll come back and we will start putting it into pasta shapes and filling it. I'll show you what the filling's gonna be. All right, I'll be right back. All right, so the pasta dough is resting. So now we're gonna make the filling. So I'm gonna start cooking the shrimp. The shrimp was frozen. I thawed it out. It's originally coming from Argentina. So I've got the garlic butter started. The garlic is actually a German red. The German red is a robust, spicy garlic, so it should be really nice with that pumpkin filling. So these, nice and big. So what we're gonna do is cook them first, and then we're gonna chop them up. All right, so I'll be back in just a little bit. We'll figure something out with that. Okay, so 2 inches. Let's do here. And here. So I am filling them. They're not perfect by any means. Some are smaller, some are bigger. You know, you just go with it. I've never made pasta before, so we're just gonna go with it. Just gonna see what we can do. And then we're gonna seal them up, cook it. I'm just putting the egg wash on all sides of all these. So now we're just gonna seal pasta. Okay, so I just fold in half, pat down. You can use a fork and make them fancy. I'll show you. You can just do the, you know, where you just kind of crump them a little with a fork. This just seals it. It's not very good. But you know, you get the idea. Nobody's perfect the first time, so. All right, so I'm gonna just continue on with this. Got a few more left, and then we will get some water boiling and start cooking. All right. So, now that we've got the pasta made, I just put the water on in the pot. I actually make our Dirty Chai Expresso Martini. So this will go with the pumpkin ravioli with the shrimp. So what we're gonna do is I did put a martini glass in the freezer. I have the ice in our shaker. So we're going to start consembling it. So we want a vodka. We use Stoli's, we just like Stoli's. So we're gonna do about 1.5 ounces of Stoli's. So this is about 1 ounce. And then we're gonna do another half. Then you can do Kahlua. I'm decided to go ahead and do Bailey's. So we're gonna do a Bailey's. So Bailey's we're gonna do about 1.5 as well. I think this is a 2-shotter. Let's see, it's 1. And we don't drink Bailey's that often, so that's why I got the little bottle. You know, that's about 1/2. I might as well just, well, I had this and one other bottle and it was $3. So really inexpensive. So if you're wondering why I bought the little bottles, this is my first time making these cocktails. I was not sure if I was gonna like it or not, so this was a great way to try out the cocktail without actually having to buy a 20, 30, whatever bottle the prices are. So this is a great way. You buy 1 or 2, you try your drink, see if you like it. If you don't, great, no harm, no foul. It's only, you know, only $1, $1.50. And then if you like it, then you know you can buy a full bottle. So now we have our vodka in here. We have our Bailey's. Like I said, you can do Kahlua since it is a Dirty Chai Espresso. I went ahead and did the espresso. This hasn't cooled down yet, so I'm gonna let it cool down just for a second. We are gonna do our chai. This is my chai syrup. So it's chai tea. So I steeped 4 tea bags in half a cup of water, and I did some honey. I did just like a teaspoon of vanilla, Let's just stir it a little bit more because I guess I didn't stir the honey. We use raw, organic, unfiltered honey. There we go. Oh, it's beautiful. Nice chai notes. So actually, no, I'm gonna do about we'll do about half an ounce. You know what, let's do 1.5 tablespoons. That's about 3/4. All right, so that is going in here. Now we're gonna do a little bit of coconut milk. Will be about 1 ounce. There we go. And then the last but not least, the espresso. Probably wanna let this cool a little bit down, a little bit more. So we put the espresso in there. We do want to rim this, so let's see. Just get a little bit of, let's get a little bit of this. I only do I usually like for the other drink, I just do half. Just that way, if you don't know your guests and you don't know if they like the sugar and you're making them ahead of time, you can just, just do half. They can decide if they want to do that side of the rim or not. So, there we go. Now let's shake it. Make sure it's all right. Nice and cold. There we go. And oops. Beautiful. And you can garnish this with nutmeg. You could garnish it with a cinnamon stick if you feel like it, because it's, is chai. If you wanted to, you could do a little bit of whipped cream, or you could even use a milk frother and do milk froth up there. But I went ahead and I'm just gonna leave it as is. I am gonna sprinkle a little bit of nutmeg. Gets a little bit of garnish. You get that smell aroma when you bring it up to your mouth. And then, just for fun, let's do this. We'll just put it right here. And voila, you have a Dirty Chai Expresso Martini. All right, so the water is actually finally still boiling. We do have an electric stove, so it takes a little bit longer than your gas stove, but we're ready finally. So we're going to drop these in. Hopefully I sealed them properly. And they should only take about 3 minutes. They are fresh dough, so it shouldn't take that long. So we're just gonna do this in 3 minutes. I've got the brown butter sage sauce is what we're gonna do. So I've got the the butter and the garlic right now, just kind of melding. And then we'll turn up the heat. I'll throw in the sage. I already cut up the sage. You want it to kind of fry, so you want the sage, the butter to be hot enough to where it just barely starts browning, and then you throw it in the sage in there, and fries the sage, so it really releases all those oils. Now I also used the same pan that we cooked the shrimp in, so all that goodness of the shrimp, shrimp juices is still in there. So we've got a little bit of everything going on. It should just kind of amp it up a little bit. So I'll be back in a second after I finish boiling these, and we'll be able to try it. All right, so we've got the pasta boiled, cooked. We did about 3 minutes for each one. I did it in 2 batches, so the water didn't get so cold. We went ahead and boiled them for 3 minutes. I topped it with the garlic butter sauce. Now and with sage, so the brown butter garlic sage sauce. So I did top it. The garlic got a little crunchy, but it's beautiful. I think it'll be perfect with that creamy filling. So let's try the drink. This is the Dirty Chai Expresso Martini. So it's very nice, creamy. You got that chai, all the chai flavors come through. You've got that espresso. Even that hint of nutmeg on top does come through. Now I didn't try it with a sprinkle of sugar because I didn't want to overpower the delicacy of this dish. So let's try it here. Actually, this really popped out the brown butter a lot. I didn't anticipate that. So let's try it with this. To me, It's more of a neutral pairing. It goes great, but it's not, I don't think it enhances anything. So let's try another bite. Let's just make sure. And the brown butter sage sauce is so easy to make. Great with a lot of different pastas. Yeah, I mean the brown butter really does show through when you go from the cocktail to the pasta itself. But going back to the cocktail, I feel like it just cleanses your palate. The pasta doesn't enhance the drink, but the drink enhances the brown butter when you go to the pasta. So anyway, here's to a great pairing.